Hey guys, and welcome to my Black Ops Cold War multiplayer review and why I believe that it failed. Now, there's going to be a long list of discussion points within this video, so I'm going to timestamp them down below. So if you guys want to skip to any particular points, feel free to do so. But if you guys want to stick around and listen to the entire review, I'd really appreciate that. It took a long time to make, and yeah, let's get into it. Now, before we get into the review and be critical of the developers and the teams, I want to just obviously give a disclaimer that obviously we had a pandemic last year. As of now, we're all working from home, which meant that a lot of game development has been delayed and problematic issues around games being released and things along those lines. Trying to find that work balance from home and create a game, it can't be easy to do that. However, they should have thought about this and made the decision to delay the game if it was not ready. Now, for you guys that played the beta and for you guys that played the game on day one, you would know that this game was literally identical on the day it was released. The only differences were that we had camo challenges and a couple of different other challenges and calling cards that we could actually equip in the game to make the difference between the beta and the full game. The game was clearly not finished, it was clearly not ready, and it should not have been released in the state that it was at launch. We didn't actually see the full release of Black Ops Cold War until Season 1, and that was a month or two after the game first released. So I'm not putting any blame on the developers for this. This is entirely Activision's doing. If this game wasn't ready and it was not in a state that it would have been available with plenty of content at launch, it should have been delayed, but it wasn't, of course, because it's a yearly cycle of the game and it's ruining it in my opinion. If it isn't ready, don't release it. I think Cyberpunk is a pretty good example of that. Now, the first topic of discussion I want to get into is around the gameplay. When the beta first released for Black Ops Cold War, bro, the gameplay was just straight fire. It was really, really good. I actually really enjoyed it, and I went on the record and said on a YouTube video and a load of streams that I did that this could be one of the best CODs out there when this does release, if they do it right. I was overall left really impressed, other than the infamous skill-based matchmaking. In the beta, why would they add something like that in the beta? I don't really understand it, but again, if that was completely out, if you were reverse boosting or if you were playing with the people with lower KD, your experience was usually quite good. However, if you're on your own and you were doing pretty well into a game, the next game you went into, you would be absolutely sweated on. So that was, again, a really frustrating point about the game. And when I said that this could have been one of the best games, I really did mean it. If they really carried on and updated this game regularly, it really could have been a very promising game. How wrong was I? Looking back at it now, and to be honest, for the last couple of months, this game leaves a lot to be desired for me. No innovation. It's a boring copy and paste for a lot of the weapons, maps, and things like that in the game. As of now, in Black Ops Cold War, we have 53 weapons across multiplayer and zombies. That goes for wonder weapons, DLC weapons, and base weapons that were in the game when it first came out. Do you guys want to guess how many of those weapons out of the 53 are weapons added in after launch? The answer is 21. 21 weapons across zombies and multiplayer that have been added in after launch through seasonal updates. This game launched with around 32 base weapons, which, I mean, on paper sounds like quite a lot, but it's not really. If you look back at older Call of Duties, I'm going to give a couple of examples here. For example, if you look back at Modern Warfare 2, for example, that game launched 39 weapons across multiplayer, and that didn't have any DLC weapons at all. Modern Warfare 3 launched with 43 weapons at launch, and Black Ops 1 launched with 27. These three games, which came out over probably 10 years ago, launched with more weapons than Black Ops Cold War. Modern Warfare 3 launched with double the amount of weapons than Black Ops Cold War did. Let that sink in for a second, my word. And out of these 53 weapons, we've got literally probably 6 or 7 melee weapons. We've got a couple of weapons like the nail gun and stuff, which aren't necessarily actual guns. It's more of like a gimmicky weapon you unlock and have a bit of fun with. Obviously, that's also including things like launchers and stuff like that. You're not necessarily going to use in-game actively. You're only going to really use it to shoot things down. So playable weapons, we don't really have too much of an option here. I think we've got approximately like 15 primary weapons that we can use in-game actively and just try and do well in camo grind for, which in theory is not a lot. Of course, that number has increased since we've had the DLC weapons implemented into the game. Still, looking back, that's really bad. Teams can make and put out brand new skins and weapon bundles every other day, but they can't make weapons to add into launch. I just don't understand the logic. But at launch, you don't really care that much about the lack of weapons because it's a new game, you're enjoying it, and you're trying to grind for the camo. So at the positives at launch, the game was fun. I thought it was a really fun game, especially when you were reverse boosting. It felt like the old days. It was good. You were pub stomping. You were doing well. You were getting nukes. It was really good. There was a lot to do obviously at the start. You were ranking up, trying to get your level up as well. Your KD, you're trying to get as good of a KD as possible. You're trying to camo grind, find out what's the best weapon and best class setup. There was a lot going on at the time, trying out all the different game modes coming in from different games. Obviously, bringing back new game modes, bringing back old game modes from other games and stuff. It was a lot of fun. The updates were semi-regular as well. We had a couple of regular patches at the start of the game as well, which is always good to change the meta around, and things that were overpowered were patched fairly quickly as well, which is always nice too. But they're literally the only positives that I can take out of the launch of the game. The negatives definitely outweigh the positives in my opinion, such as horrible skill-based matchmaking. My god, this game was absolutely horrendous with skill-based matchmaking. If I didn't know skill-based matchmaking was a thing, I would have thought that I would just become a worse off player. It's an awful way to try and play casually in a TDM or a domination game. It's just a horrible way to play, and it just makes you not want to play this game at all. Even camo grinding is an absolute task, especially with launchers and the knife and things along those lines. It's so difficult to do these challenges with a heavy skill-based matchmaking lobby because you're going to get dicked every single time. A lack of 6v6 maps, not including the strike map, so Armada Strike or Crossroads Strike, not including those. There were 6v6 maps, original 6v6 maps that we've never seen before at the launch of Black Ops Cold War. Obviously including Crossroads and Armada, that will take it to 8, so there were 8 at launch including those, but 6 without it, which is just absolutely terrible. Not to mention probably half of those were absolutely god awful as well. Garrison, not a fan of it. Miami was terrible. Moscow is a bit of a hit and miss for me, and Checkmate just is not very good. Cartel I quite enjoyed, and Satellite, it was very good for me in the beta, so I kind of carried that over to the start of the game as well. Again, the lack of weapons that we spoke about earlier on, and Dark Matter not being available at launch. I think it took them around a month or two before Dark Matter was actually available. I think I did loads of videos on this back in the day, but people were getting Dark Matter literally within the first couple of days of this game coming out, and no one was able to use it. Not to mention, it looks terrible. It doesn't cover all the gun. It's literally a broken camo, which takes ages to get, but it's still not fixed. Don't understand why, but again, it is how it is. I'm sick of complaining about it now. But yeah, it was a bit of a rocky start for Cold War for a lot of people, and if you weren't reverse boosting and you were trying to play the game properly, yeah, you were going to have a tough time. Maps and seasonal content. This is the next point we're going to talk about in this video, and there's a lot to go over as well in regards to content, maps, weapons, and things like that. So strap in, guys, because yeah, it's going to be a bumpy ride. For me, Season 0 and then Season 1 of Black Ops Cold War were a lot of fun for me. I hit max rank both seasons. I really grinded out the game. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun, and obviously I could keep the camo grind going for primary weapons, secondary weapons, going for nukes, best class setups. There's plenty of content to be made, how-tos and things, so I was really enjoying the game, and I was making a lot of content on it as well. I mean, within Season 1, they gave us a lot of stuff. They made us, it wasn't drip fed, it was actually, they gave us this stuff to use there and then, and it was a lot of fun. We got 4 brand new maps, 3 of them being 6v6 maps, which was positive, and there was a lot of content to play there. We also had Sanitarium coming back as well as a Dirty Bomb map, but overall Season 1 was quite good, and I've got to give them Treyarch props for giving us some good content. The maps they gave us in Season 1 were very good. We had Nuketown, 84 Holiday, we had the Pines, and also we had Raid coming in as well a little bit later on into the season, and to be honest, it was so good. I really enjoyed this update. I thought that it played really well. I quite like the Pines as well, and Nuketown and Raid were 2 of my fan favorite maps from back in the day, so I couldn't complain about that. As mentioned, we had things like the Harp coming into the game as well. Should have been in there and launched, but we won't go into that. Brand new weapons such as the MAC-10, the Groza, and the Street Sweeper, so they were also a very good additions to the game. But then Season 2 hit, and that's where we started getting a little bit stale. In Season 2, we got a couple of new maps, one of them being Apocalypse, Golova as a multi-team map, and then Mansion Gunfight. Again, just one 6v6 map in an entire seasonal update. For me, it wasn't enough, and to be honest, it didn't tie me over for long at all. I think I remember playing the game for a week or so and then just putting it down for the rest of the season because there just wasn't a lot of content in there until Season 2 Reloaded was then announced and added to the game. But again, lack of content. We got Miami Strike 6v6. Again, a remake of a map we've already played, and everybody hated it. Like, what do you expect us to think? I tried it out. I thought it was a good improvement on the original Miami. Was it my favorite map in the world? Definitely not. That would have been a really good opportunity to add in a brand new map that we've not seen before. I know they did that with Apocalypse at the start of the season, but mid-season ideally is more important than the start of the season. For me, they should have had the Miami map at the start of the season and then given us a brand new multiplayer map mid-season. Then alongside Miami, they also added in the Mansion map as a 2v2 and a 3v3 map rather than just a gunfight map, and then of course Golova as a multi-team map as well rather than just a Dirty Bomb map. So again, literally the same map, just different game modes. You can see where I'm coming from here, guys. Season 3, I was very excited for Season 3. We had 2 brand new maps we had never seen before.
Oh my god! Okay, it's happening! Everybody stay calm!
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay fuck up!
Not reused assets, not remakes, brand new content coming to the game. So of course I was going to be excited. I thought Yaman 2 was a good map as well. I quite enjoyed the way that it felt a lot like Summit from back in the day. It gave me those sorts of vibes. It was a really good map. And Diesel is a sniper's heaven, really. I mean, it's not a bad map, but it's not one of my favorites. Then of course we've got our third remake of the game, which is Standoff 6v6. Standoff is a fan favorite, of course. Everyone loves Standoff. We've been requesting Standoff to come back for ages now, and I'm glad that it finally did, because it was a very, very good map. And Standoff, you can't really go wrong with it, to be honest. It's like Nuketown and Raid. Can't go wrong with Standoff. But again, another remake. And not to mention, Standoff didn't come to the game until Season 3 Reloaded, and obviously that's where we had the Rambo and the Die Hard things and how that was really overhyped and stuff like that. So again, we only got the one DLC map, which was a remake mid-season. Again, why are we getting remakes mid-season? They should be at the start of the season and have the new maps come middle of the season, because that's when you want to try and get players back in. Again, it's just the same thing again, and I guarantee the same thing's going to happen with the season coming up, Season 5. We're going to have the same sort of thing, and it's just going to be the same problem. Again, lack of content. The two maps were mediocre at best, really, and then they update the mid-season with a map that we've already played for literally the last 10 years. Again, we had a couple of other maps in different game modes, but for me, I don't play any of the maps, and maybe that's my fault for not playing any of the game modes. But for me, 6v6 is where I've always wanted to play. It's where I base my channel off, so not having any content in that department, it's difficult for me to stay engaged in this game. And on to Season 4, which is of course where we are currently, and of course we got two brand new 6v6 maps. Well, I say they're brand new, but again, they're just fucking remakes. We had Hijacked and Rush, both 6v6, both from Black Ops 2. I mean, we did have a new map called Collateral, which was a 6v6 or a 12v12 map, and that was okay. Again, very mediocre. There's nothing special about it, really. And then we got Amsterdam, which is a 2v2 and a 3v3 map. Again, literally, as you've seen from all of these different things, guys, these maps have just been remade, reused, and basically we're playing Black Ops 2 in 2021 right now. Half the Black Ops 2 game has been remastered and put into Black Ops Cold War. And again, these maps were not all available at launch. We had Hijacked at the start, along with Collateral, which was again really difficult to find because it wasn't its own game mode. You had to go into quick play and hope that someone would vote for it. Amsterdam again is a 2v2 and a 3v3 map. I don't really play them that often because it's a sweat fest usually. And Hijacked, it's a remake. I've played it before. And Rush is the same map as it was in Black Ops 2. If I wanted to play Rush, I could go onto the game and play Rush. It did not surprise me. Didn't play it for too long because I already know what the map's like. I enjoyed it back in the day, but all of these maps play differently now. They don't play like they did in Black Ops 2, so the nostalgia is there for playing it and aesthetically seeing it, but it will never play the same because the playstyles of players have naturally become more sweaty and the playstyles have changed completely. Again, going back to one of my points, just the lack of originality within this game entirely. The amount of DLC maps that we've had that have been remakes is absurd. We've had 9 DLC maps over the duration of Cold War's life cycle, and that's also including Express, which we did miss out, which was just one of those maps that they chucked in at us. Do you want to know how many of those have been remakes or remasters? 6. That means we've had 3 original maps in this game since its launch. Since November last year, we have had 3 brand new maps that have come into Black Ops Cold War, and the additional 6 have all been remakes or remasters of maps from previous Treyarch titles. It blows my mind to think that people wonder why this game isn't doing well, and the main reason for that is that for me, lack of content. This game offers so much in terms of content. I mean, there's a lot of industry insiders saying that this game will be the most supported post-launch and have the most content ever in a Call of Duty game, but yet it's got such little content in it. Like, how does that even work? I can guarantee you right now, if this game had 9 original maps after launch, it would be so much better received right now. I mean, 1 or 2 remakes here and there, perfect, that's fine. I would love to play Nuketown again. I would love to play Rush or Hijacked if they were added in moderation. Why are they adding in 6 DLC maps and only giving us 3 original maps when those original maps are just mediocre crap? I mean, Yamantau, okay, I do enjoy Yamantau, so I probably won't put that in that mediocre crap list. I'll probably put it in the above average list, but the rest of them, Diesel is not a good map. Apocalypse is okay. It's nothing on the originals. It isn't one of the best pieces of work ever. And I just wonder where we're going wrong with map design and things like that. On to the next point, and that is around the weapons within the game. For me, to be fair, weapon DLC has been quite good. I can't really complain about it. I've enjoyed the new guns for the most part. Obviously, we've had a lot of the new primary weapons, secondary weapons, combat, melee weapons, and things along those lines. They've all been pretty good. I've just not enjoyed the bullshit challenges when trying to unlock them. One of my biggest asks for years and years and years in Call of Duty was to get DLC weapons by earning them. And for me, when I enjoy a COD game, more than happy to put the time in to earn a weapon rather than paying for it. I'm more than happy to put half an hour into a game to try and unlock a weapon. Not a problem. If the challenge is suitable, I don't mind it. However, it's when we cross the line of suitable, and that seems to be what they're doing this year, and it's really, really irritating. You can unlock these weapons in multiplayer, and you can unlock them in zombies, and obviously the challenges will differ depending on what the game mode is. For some reason, the developers make the multiplayer challenges an absolute task to get, and I really don't know why. In fact, no, I do know why they do it. It's because they want to try and entice someone to think, oh, I don't really want to spend an hour or two to try and get this weapon. I'm just going to go in the store and I'm going to buy it. Whether that's Treyarch or Activision's problem, I don't know. To be honest, I think it might be Activision telling them to do it, and I'm not thinking. I know it's Activision telling Treyarch to do that. Because if I can make a challenge ridiculously and obscenely hard and just stupid and time consuming for someone, then why would they put the time in to do it when they can just spend £10 in the store to buy the exact same weapon? And the one in the store is going to have some fancy camo or mastercraft. So if anything, it's going to be even better in the store if you buy it. Always wanted challenges such as win 10 domination games, or get 300 kills with an assault rifle, or get 50 headshots with a sniper rifle. Just something like that. But the problem with this is, it's so time consuming to get these guns in Cold War because you've got to do it per game. Now this is where they get you, and I want you guys to think about this. Every single weapon challenge that you can see in Black Ops Cold War has a per game challenge, and you can only get that challenge done if you stay in the entire game. Not to mention in Black Ops Cold War, with people camping and basically staying still, games don't necessarily last 4 to 5 minutes like they did in previous games. They last up to 8 to 9 minutes. If I'm playing in 15 matches which take up to 10 minutes per match, that's nearly 2.5 to 3 hours of gameplay to try and unlock a single weapon on a game with heavy skill-based matchmaking, and in a game that I don't necessarily enjoy playing. The time I spend trying to unlock that weapon massively outweighs the awards that I'm going to get at the end of it, because I'm not going to get any at all. Once I've unlocked that weapon after the 3 hours, I've still got to then go and grind for the camos. I've still got to then unlock all the attachments for it. So I'm going to end up playing another 3 to 4 hours to do that. You see why this is such a problem for people, especially people that have full-time jobs, come home in the evening, want to try the new weapon, but they've got to spend 3 hours unlocking it. It doesn't make sense. And that's where they make their money. Not to mention, the weapons are always broken on release. Like every single DLC weapon I can think of dating back to the launch or the first ever weapon that came out has always been extremely good, other than the Swiss, because that was just terrible. This also goes for Warzone as well, not just Black Ops Cold War, but every DLC weapon that comes out is extremely overpowered because they want you to go ahead and try and buy the weapon. If you can spend 3 hours getting it, then brilliant, all kudos to you guys. But for the select few that buy it in the store, they want you to buy that and think, oh, that gun's really good, I'm going to get that before it gets nerfed. But then when it does get nerfed, you're stuck with a gun you're never going to use because it's useless. Not to mention, Dark Matter literally doesn't work on any weapons in this game. It works on the middle of the weapon. It doesn't work on any attachments that you add to the weapon, which is pointless. I don't understand. The camo that takes you the longest to get in the entire game is probably one of the worst camos in the game, and Diamond looks way better and it takes a lot less time to get. Why would you not run Diamond? To be honest, I really couldn't tell you. I run Diamond over Dark Matter at the moment. It's just way better, it looks way better, and unfortunately I don't think they're ever going to fix it. Moving on to the customization side of things. Now this is an interesting point, because when advertising the game when it first came out, they were saying, oh, you get these operators, you get these weapons, you get these different things, different customization pieces, and you pre-order the game and you get them in game and stuff like that, and we were like, oh, that's really, really cool. You know, we get a Frank Woods skin, we get a Captain Price skin. It looks really cool, and yeah, I'm going to rock that in game. Everyone's going to see that I've got this, and I'm going to look really good in game. However, the reality of that is that customization in Black Ops Cold War is non-existent. This goes for Modern Warfare 2019 as well, and I want to compare this to the games such as Advanced Warfare, even COD Ghosts, for fuck's sake. Those games had decent customization. In COD Ghost, there was a big emphasis on customization. You could obviously buy different skins and things. You could buy different DLC skins from Ghost from the campaign. You could also buy different skins from previous games, such as Modern Warfare 2, such as Captain Price. You could even buy people like Mike Myers and stuff like that. It was really, really cool. And in Advanced Warfare, my God, you guys know the customization that was in Advanced Warfare. It was just mental, and there's a big emphasis on the customization. And if someone's seen you with completely decked out royalty armor, they knew you've grinded to Master Prestige to get that. Or back in the day, been lucky and got it out of a supply drop. Within Black Ops Cold War, there's none of that. Unfortunately, you get a couple of different operators per season. Doesn't really make too much difference. If you put an operator on, yeah, great, you look cool. If you don't, it doesn't affect you in any way at all. No one's going to look at you, or I haven't looked at anyone in-game for the past 4.5 seasons that we've been and thought, oh, I like that skin. I haven't taken any notice because they don't put any emphasis on it. And for me, it's a big missed opportunity, especially with the store bundles. I feel like, yeah, some of the operators in the store bundles look really, really cool, but do I want to pay £20 of my own money to get a skin for a game that I'm not really going to play because everything else about it is terrible? Probably not. If they had ways to unlock really, really cool skins through playing the game, or if they could use it and put things in the Prestige shop in order for us to actually be able to buy them with the Prestige keys, I think that would be really, really cool. Again, they don't have anything like that, and again, a massive missed opportunity for them. And I feel like it's something that in the next game, I really hope they do put some emphasis on customization in COD World War II Vanguard. The next point is leveling and progression, and this is our last point to go through in the video, guys. And for me, leveling in Modern Warfare 2019 and Black Ops Cold War, obviously they're very similar, they're integrated, they are basically the exact same. It leaves a lot to be desired for me. The way that it works in these two games is that you essentially, at the start of a season, you'll start at level 1, and you have to rank up to level 200 in order to get to max prestige. In order to get to max prestige, for that particular season. Once the new season starts, you then put back to level 1 again, and you've got to do the same thing over and over again. But you can go over the level 200 mark and go all the way up to level 1000 if you really wanted to. Every 50 levels, you'll then unlock a prestige key in Black Ops Cold War, which you can then go ahead and use in the prestige shop, unlock things like calling cards, emblems, different prestige emblems from previous games, and now in the recent update, blueprints. A couple of things to point out on this. Prestige keys are the most pointless thing I've ever seen in my life. Now, the concept of prestige key for me is really good. I think it's so clever. Like for Modern Warfare 3 back in the day, we had prestige tokens we could use in the prestige shop. We could buy emblems and emblem packs that you could only buy once if you had the prestige key for. You could buy double XP tokens. You could buy loads of different things in that store, and it just looked really cool to say that I had this prestige token I unlocked at 10th prestige, and I can buy this, and I've only got this because I'm 10th prestige and I've spent my prestige token on it. But yeah, in Black Ops Cold War you can buy a couple of older prestige emblems and things like that, but it's just it's a gimmick. It's something that we've had previously in games as well, and for me it's just not good enough. There is so much missed opportunity in these prestige keys. Of them being, for example, we can now buy bundles on the prestige shop with these prestige keys. Now I believe that there are 2 bundles currently on on offer, and one of them is a reskin of one we've already had for a pre-order bonus from the AK-47, but that is now on the Krig, and the other one is an MP5 that I think you got like in the first 1 or 2 seasons of the game anyway. I know that I've already got it, but you did get offered that, I believe, earlier on in the game, and to be honest, it's nothing special anyway, even if we didn't. I'm not going to jump at the opportunity to buy these 2 bundles because they're just crap. They are literal crap. What I thought that they were going to do when adding this in was potentially put some mastercrafts into this, or some additional bundles with some animated camos, or just something that looks cool and that makes me want to go ahead and use my prestige tokens on it. Some of the DLC mastercrafts that are in the store that have been bundled for like £20, maybe we can put them in the shop for like 15 or 16 prestige keys, 15 to 20 prestige keys. You know, it rewards the grinders and said that, you know, if I've got 15 prestige keys, I can go ahead and buy this brand new mastercraft that's just come. That's very similar to the credits or armory credits system that we had in COD World War II, Infinite Warfare, and things like that. If you grinded and had the acquired coin or currency to go ahead and purchase these things, you could do that. It rewards grinding. It means you can play the game, save up your credits, and then spend it on actual things that you're going to use. For me, I'm not bothered about emblems because, for one, you can't see them properly in game. Again, something else that I really don't like about this game. Previous games, you could go over to a player's calling card and visually see everything that they've got, moving emblems, moving player cards, stuff like that. You could see that visually and think, okay, this guy is good because he's got a nuclear before, or this guy's got an ultra kill, he must be in the business. He's got a spinning nuke emblem. you must be pretty good at the game. Whereas now, you go off levels, and a terrible player could play this game a lot and still be the max rank. It doesn't mean that they're good at the game because they've played it a lot. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I think there's a massive missed opportunity with prestige keys, and I hope they do turn it around as well, because the prestige shop is a really good idea. I think they were on the right track with it when they implemented it, but I feel like it was done just really poorly. Not to mention the prestige system as well. I just don't really like it. I feel like that ranking up to level 200 and then going to 1000 every season is a bit tedious. To be honest, even hitting level 200 with the lack of original content that we've got is a very big task for me. Again, no rewards for grinders in general. There's no prestige key rewards for grinders unless you get one prestige key per 50 levels, which for me is just awful. There's no incentive to hit max prestige, like you don't get any rewards for it. There's no incentive to hit level 1000 because there's no rewards for it. I'm not going to hit level 1000 just to unlock a couple of extra calling cards that no one's going to see. It's absolutely pointless, and I just think it's really poorly executed. To summarize what we've spoken about in today's video, I think Black Ops Cold War in general is a good game. I don't think it's a bad game. I think at the ground level, the game has promise, and I think the gameplay is good. The gunplay is good. The time to kill is perfect. I think the time to kill in Cold War was in Modern Warfare 2019. It would be a much better game. I think Cold War's time to kill is absolutely perfect. I like the gun skill. I like the way that it plays. When I'm not being dicked on every 5 seconds by a slide cancelling AK-74U pro player on a map, on a reimagined map I've played 10 years ago. Now, a lot of people feel the same way, but a lot of people might not feel the same way. I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts down below in the comments of what you think about Black Ops Cold War, what you think about some of the points that I put across, and let me know what you think about it. One of my biggest concerns for the next year's COD is that it's going to be the exact same, and this is going to be an ongoing trend for Call of Duty now. And I kind of hope that it gets shit on by Battlefield this year. Battlefield has had a much longer life cycle, around 3 or 4 years now. And for them to release a game that I know is going to be finished and polished, I think it's going to really shock the Activision and the Call of Duty devs that a lot of people are going to move over to this new game. For me, Call of Duty needs to scrap the yearly cycle, and they need to go back. Call of Duty needs to scrap the yearly cycle and potentially have a year off. I think they're in a situation now where Warzone is doing well enough, despite all the cheaters and things like that. I think Warzone is doing well enough to carry the franchise for a year, whilst the teams really think about what they're doing with this next game. I think it would really benefit the franchise as well to have a year off, because I think franchise fatigue is starting to kick in. We're supposed to have 2 more seasons in Black Ops Cold War, Season 5 and Season 6, so let me know what you think down below of what you think about this video, what you think about some of the points I've raised, and if you think the next 2 seasons are going to be like this. We're really curious to know how many of you guys still play Black Ops Cold War as well. But guys, hope you have enjoyed today's video. Drop a like on it if you have, and subscribe down below if you are brand new. And if you've made it this far, guys, let me know in the comments down below by commenting trash. Comment trash in the comments, and if you do, I know you've made it this far and I know that you're a real G. Comment trash down below. I'll pick a couple of winners out for a battle pass if you really wanted to for Season 5, and then we'll I'll hook you guys up. We appreciate it, guys. Have a good rest of your day. See you in the next one.